Hello, adventurers and story lovers. Welcome to Inspired Quill D&D. There will be another name. We haven't decided it yet. I am your humble dungeon master, James Webster. With me today are some lovely Inspired Quill people who will now introduce themselves. Starting with David.
Oh, no, not me. I didn't know. I was going to listen to everybody else. Hi, I'm David Wilkinson. I am one of the authors at Inspired Quill. I mainly write kind of like space opera science fiction. So I've been pre-reading the Earthsea series just to do kind of get in the zone for this. That was for the first time. Yes, so I'm also a complete novice to Dungeons and Dragons. I've never successfully paid it for more than about 10 minutes without going, what on earth is happening? So I'll be the one asking all the questions and just saying, look, can I do that? And somebody tell me what to chuck in terms of dice, obviously.
Yeah, so David will be our clueless every person, our kind of audience newcomer point of view character. David, why don't you tell us who you're playing?
All right, I am playing a character called Jack Pilyarkin, which is loosely based on I was about to say hero, the principal character of my second book. Obviously, she actually works in a futuristic city, but this one has some of the same kind of features. So Jack Pilyarkin used to work for the Watch, so she was. They were. I still haven't decided what sex it is, actually. Cut this bit out, won't you? Yeah. They used to work for the Watch, so they have a certain background in law enforcement. But for reasons that will remain opaque for now, they no longer work for the Watch, and they drink a lot, and they smoke a lot, and they take certain interesting herbs from roadsides, and I know a lot about those herbs. But an overwhelming sense of justice. So sometimes to the detriment of doing the right thing. So the higher calling of justice will usually decide any kind of tricky situation. My character also will approach any situation with a kind of rational, reasonable take on it, but will get frustrated very quickly, and things will escalate very quickly if they don't go my way.
Fantastic.
Oh, I should have said I'm an Aasimar.
Yes, Jack Pilyarkin is an Aasimar rogue. And David, will you tell us the name of the book that Pilyarkin is from?
Oh, the book. Yes, hang on. No, it's from Under the Shell. So the character in that is actually called Jack Pilyarkin rather than Jack Pilyarkin. And Jack is spelled differently as well.
All of their books now.
Yeah. I've got yours there, Hugo. So,
hey.
Fab.
Okay, brilliant. And next, let's move on to Craig.
Great. Hi, I'm Craig Hallam. I'm another one of the authors. I tend to lean more towards kind of fantasy, gothic, kind of steampunky stuff. I have a very short attention span, so I tend to jump around genres depending on what I'm feeling like. Which is good because I'm playing Allain Shore from my steampunk series, and he does what he wants to do based on how he's feeling as well. He's pretty moody and gets basically just annoyed by other people's stupidity an awful lot, which is interesting because he's not the sharpest tool in the shed himself. But yes, so The Adventures of Allain Shore is the series that obviously Alan is from. I'm going to be playing a fantasy-ish version kind of thing of Alan. I've gone for the ultimate boring combination of human fighter. It kind of fits Alan really well, but surrounded by the rest of the team, I think he's probably going to get outclassed pretty quickly. Alan is from that book. Just there. There you go. Yes, but he's probably chaotic good-ish. Does believe in right or wrong, but right or wrong is a matter of perspective and situation. So we'll see.
Okay, super. Moving on to Sarah.
So I'm the odd one out here because I'm not actually an author. I run Inspired Quill, have done for pretty much a decade now, which is slightly terrifying. So the character that I'm playing is from actually one of James's titles, Heroine Chic.
Oh, sorry.
I am playing The Lost Boys Lost. So I am playing a fantasy steampunky version of Wendy Darling. I've renamed her Wendy Quill because why not? And she is a paladin, and she's also a Kadashtar. So that will all become what word am I looking for? It will all make sense if you read the poem from the book Heroine Chic. And she also has one hand. So a paladin without much dexterity, so that's going to be fun.
Indeed. So yeah, Sarah is indeed the reason we're all here, really. At least here together, not alive. And yeah, I think I don't envy the challenge of Sarah because everyone else is playing a character that they wrote with a whole book or multiple books of information behind them. And Captain Wendy exists in one single one-page poem.
I like a challenge. I like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Room
to
to
round out,
expand.
and to round out our final player, Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo Jackson. I'm pretty much exclusively a kind of furry fantasy sword and sorcery author. My books are here. My character is Faria Ferraco, as you can see on the front cover there. She's going to be a slightly older version than she is in the books here. She is a storm sorcerer, so lots of magic and not very many hit points. She is she's sort of in her mid-20s, lives with her father, who is a tailor, and she tries to support him as best she can, but she gets distracted by pretty mechanical machines and ducks and chickens and things like that.
On the one hand, you have, and on the other.
Yeah, there's balance.
There's some way through the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, and she is obviously, because she's a fox, she's based on the Tabaxi series, because it's often said that foxes are, what is it, cat software running on dog hardware. So that character type fits in very well with the racial abilities they have for Tabaxi. I love D&D. I'm not very experienced with it, so I'm very enthusiastic, sort of intermediate and newbie with it. I love it. I've bought many pairs of dice already.
All of the dice.
Yes, many dice.
Marvelous. And yes, I am James Webster. As Sarah said, I'm the author of Heroine Chic, a collection of short fiction themed around heroines in sci-fi and fantasy. I will respond to either James or Webster. Either's fine. My pronouns, which we'll probably add in little subtitles under each of our introductions as well, are he, him, they, them, and am. Any of those are fine. And yeah, I will be your dungeon master. It's very exciting. Our story will begin in the town of Ramshackle, colloquially known to its residents as Shackle. It is, as the name suggests, a somewhat haphazard affair, kind of held together with gaffer tape and string out of strange technologies and magic. The main feature of Ramshackle is in the center of the town is the gate, an extra-planal portal that connects the town to various other dimensions of various kinds, which explains perhaps some of the strange genre mashup you may experience in this game.
Craig, what are
That
you
was an
writing notes on already? That's terrifying.
Yeah, so I didn't mention, but I've been playing D&D for quite some time, and I have a terrible memory. So I'm aware that writing stuff down is kind of essential to my personal survival, and probably Alan's as well. Yeah, I'm ridiculously organised. Sorry, I have little circles so I can cross out how many shots my gun has. I'm in deep already. Can't help it.
This is the kind of preparation that I approve of. Every group of adventurers needs at least one. Someone you can ask, hey, can you go back through your notes and work out the name of that NPC we met some time ago? Like, the in character was yesterday, but in terms of actual life was months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm terrible for that, actually.
Yeah, actually, I should say, in terms of my experience with tabletop role-playing games, I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for many years now, and various other role-playing games as well. Got properly into them just after university when I was 21, which was some years ago now. I'm not going to say how many. I started with D&D, I think when I was 11, and I had the 2nd edition starter set that I got my dad to run for me and a group of my friends. And I shamelessly cheated through the first half because I read the first half of the book. And then, and no one noticed this, including my dad. But then when I got to the second half and like the final puzzle, which I solved very quickly and was very proud of, and I hadn't read, that's when my dad said, "You know what, James? It's less fun when you read the whole book ahead of time." In front of all my friends.
Oh no!
Ouch.
Yeah, but no, as this is a world and adventure that I have made up and that you have all helped me make up and will indeed be forced to help me make up as time goes on, no one can accuse any of us of cheating, so that's nice. Yeah, stuff we've established about the world outside of Ramshackle, I think there's a loose collection of city-states and small nations. Further outside of that, there are probably larger nations and things, but we haven't defined what that is, and we'll probably define that as we get to it. Indeed, there's not a huge amount in Ramshackle that we've defined either. There is the main feature of the gate. I've decided what some of the districts are, which we'll go over, and I'll show you the very terrible map I've created.
Is there a convention centre?
There is not, but that is something that you can add. Because seeing as we are a group of writers and editors, it seems only fitting that I should call on you to fill in extra details of the world to kind of create it collaboratively as we go. It's not just because I'm lazy, it's to showcase your skills.
Smooth. I think we're also all just jonesing for book signings because it's been far too long and we're all getting a bit...
Yeah.
Hecking, absolutely.
I will also be turning my microphone off regularly because when I laugh, unfortunately, it's very loud and explosive and nobody needs to hear that. So most of the time, I won't be making a noise, hopefully.
Do we use a D20 very often?
That will be
Almost
the dice
never.
you use.
Well, you see, I've just dropped it, and it's in the huge pile of stuff, and I can't.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Just roll 2d10s instead. The statistics are exactly the same. He said, annoying everybody.
It's fine. I'm not bothered by this. One thing I will say is that yes, the D20 is the dice you'll probably roll the most often when you are actually rolling dice, because as often happens, players will insist on role playing.
Found it. Oh god.
So when we're talking about bits that we're going to edit out, this is staying in, right?
Oh yeah.
Has to.
The search for the dice is vital content.
And thus we have our title for the stream.
Yeah,
Great. Other things about this game before we get cracking. We are playing it obviously on Google Meet because we are physically distant, and also it would be illegal currently for us all to meet in the same place inside. I hope someday people watch this and look back and go, "Oh, what a curious artifact of the time of COVID." Well done, you. You survived.
So far.
Ooh, don't.
Should
my
we
fault, I
point out
got that.
it's also transatlantic.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Hugo is in the States, so there for Hugo it is very early in the morning.
It's not too bad. I had a coffee. I'm good.
Early-ish.
Yeah.
Super. And we're also playing this over Roll20, the virtual tabletop system, which at some point I might present on my screen, or we can cut to via some other jiggery pokery just to show the terrible visual assets that we are working with.
I actually have it. I have it set up in the middle of the recording, so it's actually
that's
sat
marvelous.
between us.
That's fab. So you can see.
That's smart.
You'll be able to see soon the things that I've created entirely in MS Paint.
Is there any other way to create stuff?
Not that I know. Certainly, that's how I write all my stories. Just hand drawn in MS Paint. Great. So, without further ado, I'll do a little bit of a kind of setting intro, and then we'll kind of introduce your characters in setting. So, it began with a thunderclap, but you didn't hear it. It was drowned out in the sound of a shot glass slamming on the stained wooden counter. It was muffled by the impact of a fist hitting jaw and the crack of your head snapping back. It was concealed in the ring of a hook as it thunks into a crate, levering it open to reveal the illicit goods inside. It was lost in the focus that comes with working on an intricate and careful project, in the chime of metalwork and the joy of a problem solved. It began yesterday, and today you all awake with no idea of the trouble that is about to land in your collective laps. It began with a thunderclap and a flash of light and a doorway opening, and you missed it. But something has come through, and it will not miss you. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh no.
I'm feeling so confident about this campaign.
So, to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to separately meet each of our characters and just see what they're up to this fine morning. So I'm going to roll a d4, and depending on what number it gets, we'll do a little introduction with you. So we got a number 2, which I'm on my screen would be Craig. So Craig,
Webster, come on.
Hey,
Why
don't
would
blame
you
me.
do
Blame
that
the
to me?
dice. The dice gods decided this, not me. I don't know what you did to piss them off.
you.
So tell us, how does Allain Shore wake up this fine morning, and what's Alan's morning routine like?
He usually wakes up dressed in the same clothes that he was wearing yesterday. Usually in a kind of in a beam of light from the curtains he forgot to close, and still wearing his coat. He probably managed to kick off his boots, but that's about as far as it got. And usually wakes up in bed kind of looking like he's fallen from a great height, just sprawled, kind of on top of the covers, and then kind of falls into unconsciousness rather than actually sleeping. Wakes up with a groan every single morning. It's never nice to hear birds tweeting or anything like that. It's always oh no. And kind of goes about his usual morning routine of getting washed and dressed with redressed. Yeah, the wardrobe would have the same clothes in it, so 2 pairs of the same trousers and 4 of the same shirt. Alan is not a man who likes variety in what he's wearing. He likes to reduce his decisions down as small as humanly possible. And so even if you do see him the next day, it probably still looks like he's wearing yesterday's clothes. But yes, makes a meager breakfast, finds a decent cup of tea, which is the only essential, and begrudgingly goes outside to see what everybody else has been up to.
And what area, what kind of neighborhood do you think Allain Shore lives in?
He's usually got a little bit of money on him. Where he's got it from varies, but he probably lives in quite a decent house from the outside until you step on the inside and realize that he does not look after it at all. So from the inside, you would be thinking something of the poor to squalid, but from the outside, probably, oh, that looks like a nice place.
So what I'm hearing is he lives in like a reasonably upscale neighborhood, but his neighbors hate him.
That sounds about right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to, on roll 20, move us on to the map of the city.
Ooh.
Has that come up?
It's drumroll. I've got a black screen so far.
Oh, it's a map.
So now you can see the map.
Ooh,
Yeah.
There we go.
2 weeks ago, I'd never heard of Roll20.
All right, great. There is a map.
Cool.
So in terms of places here that are nice, you'll see that some of the areas have names. They take their names from various archetypes that are story archetypes that are known throughout this city and indeed are known fairly widely. We'll go into those more later. But the kind of nice upscale ones are probably like Harvest and Heart. Heart's where a lot of the kind of civic buildings and kind of churches are. Harvest is where some of the kind of agricultural areas are, but also where some of the well-off farmers might be.
Oh, that sounds about right.
There we go. I have now labeled the map with where Allain Shore lives.
Yay!
Wait.
And we will continue. So, when Alan heads outside into kind of the hustle and bustle of harvest, you in the distance there are some long orchards and fields that people are already up and working on, kind of picking fruits and ploughing fields. So you can hear the kind of chatter of workers in the distance of farm hands, kind of cheerful and good-natured. And in the distance off to this kind of southwest, you can see the faint bluish purple light of the gate, which is active, which you weren't expecting today. Normally people there are kind of warnings from town criers that go around letting people know that they can expect activity, or that there is an emissary or traders coming through. But this is a surprise. And what errands or activities does Alan have planned for the day?
If there are orchards around, that means free food.
Potentially.
So the first thing will be to take a casual walk by anything that's within reach and get breakfast, if there are any orchards around.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's ask. I'm going to ask you for the first roll of the game. Please roll. I guess if to know where you can get some sneaky breakfast, roll history.
Okay.
See if you've got a good idea of the layout of the city. You
Come
can
on,
roll it
roll.
on D20, or you can roll an actual dice.
That's a big 4.
Yeah, you're not really sure where's good, so you just wander towards the nearest orchard that you can see. It's quite busy, and there's something you swear there's something you should remember about these orchards, but it's just escaping you, and I guess it can't be that important. And yeah, there's this lovely kind of
You've been rolling your character, Craig.
and there's this lovely apple tree
So my next character will be from another book.
just above this path that's kind of crossing under this orchard. It's really lovely. There are lots of public paths that walk under the orchards, not so much through the kind of fields for crops, but here, yeah, it's a mixture of somewhere for harvest and somewhere for a public park.
In that case, I feel perfectly safe to take something from one of the trees.
Yeah, lovely.
As there's nothing that I need to remember, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. How's Alan going about this?
Completely blasé, 100% bullheaded in. That apple is now mine.
Great. I'm gonna say it's a little out of your reach. So
Yoink.
if you want to kind of climb up the tree, make me an athletics check.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not hard. The difficulty is just gonna be like 12 on this. I'll be upfront about that.
Let's have a look. Come on, Alan, don't fail me. Oh, 14.
Great. Yeah, you kind of get a boost off one of the kind of lower knots in the tree, kind of vault up, grab apple, land nimbly on your feet. At this point, so I'm just gonna roll a dice for no reason.
Oh no.
Yeah, that'll do it.
No, that'll do what? What?
One of the
What have you done?
There's someone in like a uniform walks over, and I'm actually going to ask David a question here. David, what do the City Watch uniforms look like in this town of Ramshackle?
They are black.
Yep.
They have kind of like little silver buttons down the front of it, with a picture of the gate on the buttons. But apart from that, there's pretty much nothing else there.
Great.
There's no hat or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say it's just this, sleek black silver buttoned uniform. And I'm going to say, black isn't a color that many people wear in Shackle because it's the guard's uniform, and that's how you tell. If you are wearing sleek black, there's a chance you might be assumed to be like in kind of masquerading as a guard. So people don't really do that. And this guard says, excuse me, sir, buddy. Did you just take an apple?
With apple in hand, I'll just. What, this one?
Yeah, that apple that I just saw you pick off that tree that's not yours.
No.
Roll deception with disadvantage.
Oh no. How have my rolls managed to just be Alan already? Oh, fantastic! So that's a big fat 5.
Fantastic. I've got good news for you. This person also rolled low on their insight. I've got bad news for you. Their total is also a 5.
Oh no!
So that goes to them, I'm afraid, for insight checks. So,
Damn it!
but there's a second where this guard is like, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe that person was just climbing a tree and had the apple already. And then you can kind of see the cogs moving as they go, wait, no, that's ridiculous. Why am I doubting what I saw with my own eyes? And like, all right, I'm going to need you to you need to provide reasonable evidence to me that you needed to steal this fruit, or I'm going to need you to just, I guess, give it to one of the harvest workers.
Put it back. So should we put it back? I can put it back if you want.
Can't
Seems a
put
waste
it back.
though.
You can give it. You can
not
give
taking
it
from the tree.
You can give it to one of the people who's gathering fruit from the trees, or you need to provide reasonable evidence to me at the courthouse that this was a justified theft.
Eat it.
Something I'll reveal about the city right now is that I have determined very few things about law enforcement here. But I have determined that the guard are provided by a kind of larger guild called the Guild of Order that operate across various city-states in this area, and they kind of franchise out guards to different places to enforce their specific laws of each place. And there are different and people negotiate what they want the City Watch to be able to cover and what approach they want them to take, depending on their own particular society. So here, one of the laws regarding theft is you can't steal things unless you can prove that you really needed them. Like if you can provide evidence that you really needed them to in a courthouse, then they might just say, yeah, sure, that they could afford it and you needed it.
It's going to eat into your morning, though, isn't it? You have big plans for the day. You're going to spend half the day in court.
Alan never has big plans, ever, for his day or otherwise. I'll just go, fine, okay, you caught me, and I'll just go, oi! And as soon as somebody looks up, I'll just throw the apple to them and go, there you go, I helped, and just keep walking.
Make me maybe a thrown attack with the apple, I guess.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I'm gonna say that like you're proficient throwing an apple, like it seems reasonable. This is the kind of improvised thing. So just give me roll dex plus proficiency.
Oh no. Oh, now he rolls well. That is, where's my proficiency? Oh, it's there. That's a 19.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the armor class of this basket of apples was very low, so that's it. Kind of bounces off the rim, rolls across the rim, and then falls into the basket of this woman who's collecting the apples. And she's quite proud. She gives you a thumbs up. Oh, nice one. And the member of the city guard. I think that I've decided they're called orderlies because they're from the Guild of Order. Says, yeah, all right, be on your way. This isn't worth any more of my time.
That's for that. Yeah, you have a good one, mate. See you later.
I have a better day. And what does Alan want to do next?
He's not going to try his luck, actually. He'll just look around, look for the garden, and go, sod it. And he'll just keep walking. And probably head down somewhere that he can actually purchase food instead, because obviously his day is not going well.
Yeah, and you head down to one of like the kind of there's definitely a farmer's market store set of stalls at one end of Harvest, very towards the south of Harvest, where it borders on Chain, and was I? And yeah, as you are kind of looking through kind of the fruit and cheeses and breads available here, it's all lovely and fresh and not very expensive. A person that you recognise hurries over to you. It's a person wearing quite shoddy robes, kind of like has a definite kind of elderly wizardy look, kind of like straggly long grey hair under a little pointy hat that's quite droopy though. This is a down on their luck wizard, and you recognise this person as Professor Bustius, who is a professor you've worked with on some of your adventures before. They're down on their luck at the moment. They're kind of a disgraced professor. They were working on kind of interplanar magical research regarding the gates. They had a laboratory that was kind of adjacent to one of the temples in Candle, which is one of the place where a lot of the kind of like wizards' towers and kind of more research-oriented temples are. And it's just on the edge of the district around the gate, so that they can have access to that for their research.
Cool.
He says, Alan, I'm so glad I ran into you.
You see that meerkat?
Yeah.
It's maybe got a slight meerkatish quality to it.
Alan, yeah, cool.
I'm so glad I ran into. I need a favor.
You always need a favor. What do you want now?
Well, you see, I've as you know, I've had a little problem recently, and I've had to relocate my current research practices. And I've just remembered, because you know me, my memory like a sieve, like an arcane sieve. The arcane sieve was an invention that never really took off. I just remembered that in my previous premises in Candle, in my lab, I left an experiment running that will have some quite unfortunate consequences if it's not recovered and stopped. I don't want to say rift in space and time, so let's just say a small tear in place and clock.
Bloody hell.
So obviously I'm not really allowed in there anymore, but you're always good at getting into places you're not supposed to be. So I was really hoping you'd be able to head to my lab and just remove that experiment.
How long is this going to take me?
I mean, hopefully not long. Hopefully you'll be able to get it done today. I mean, ideally, you really should.
Today? A whole day?
It might not take
like 45 minutes.
It might not take all day. I mean,
I'm
really thinking it'll just be a quick jaunt down there, quick jaunt back.
Oh yeah, it always is a quick jaunt there and a quick jaunt back, and then all of a sudden you're on a separate plane of existence, and things are chasing you around with teeth.
I'm almost certain that's not going to happen this time.
Yeah, brilliant. Fine. Yes, fine.
I'm
guessing I know where. I know where his lab is.
So you've been to the lab in Candle before. It's adjacent to one of the kind of smaller temples there, and it's a temple of a god of travel. Do you want to come up with a name for this god of travel?
Oh man, we shall call them Saga.
Saga, love it. Saga, who's a god of travel, and
seriously, you can't rely on me to name anything. It's just going to be a really bad pun every time.
I love it, and I think Saga's one of those gods of travel who's more about like losing your way and finding something interesting on the journey, and then getting home safely.
Oh,
so kind of travel and misadventure.
Saints of elderly cruisers. Brilliant. Yes,
so just get that taken care of as soon as possible. Like there might be some of the staff who don't want you to go in there, but whatever you do, don't tell them I sent you.
Right. So it's not like I'm going to get a note or anything like that. Then
it would only hurt your cause.
Right.
I cannot overemphasize how thoroughly they kicked me out.
Would I know of other ways into this place, or would I have gone through the front door? Is there a tradesman's entrance?
You may well know a way into this place. Do you want to make a roll that's appropriate to that?
I will try.
What do you think?
I guess I've been there before. History, maybe something.
Yeah,
like
history might work, or maybe I'd allow maybe like survival.
Oh, good, because survival is better. Oh dear. Way, dirty 20.
Hey, love a dirty 20. Yeah, absolutely. There is a tradesperson's entrance that you've used before. They ask fewer questions there. And because this lab has like arcane component requirements, there is a way in from like the servants' quarters there, because sometimes they will just bring in crates of materials direct to the lab.
Ah, like the first level of Hitman. Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll say like you know someone who works there who kind of organizes the arcane deliveries and has sometimes called on you for help when stuff goes awry. Because of the magical stuff they've got in stock. Like there was an issue with some quasits a while back.
Oh. Wait, don't they explode? I don't like that.
Yes, they did. You did not enjoy it.
Neither did your eyebrows.
Yeah.
And that person's
just
name
love them.
is Wes Hogwood.
Where's Hogwood? Slick. Right, I will purchase something very swiftly for my breakfast and go see Wes.
Brilliant. And at that point, we'll switch focus to someone else. Yeah, there we go. You might want Primordial.
Ooh. Cool.
So
drinks.
specifically, Aquan.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
I think that'll probably be the appropriate one for lizards and lizard people.
Yep.
I have that one too.
Yay!
Nice.
We can talk about the other characters without them knowing.
Yeah. And then reptiles in the distance will go, oh, do you hear what they said?
Yeah.
Shade they throw.
Oh, bitch. Oh.